試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるんですよ。みんな、ブローキンケーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our co-host, King Rome. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing excellent, Jeff. I'm exhausted, but I'm excellent.
Yeah, me too. And the Stream Deck decided not to work there, so the intro was a little odd this morning, but it does not, or this evening, but it does not matter. We are here with episode number 126 of our AEW Dynamite review, and holy shit, this may have been possibly, maybe, the best episode of Dynamite I have ever seen. I was absolutely glued to my TV from beginning to end. I mean, this is an all-timer for me. Easily an all-timer for me.
Absolutely. I have thoughts. Jeff, go to you for a second.
Yep, no worries. One sec here. Let's hope all my buttons are working. Okay. So we're going to do things a little different here tonight. We're going to start off with a little bit of wrestling news right here before we get into the Dynamite review. Kind of figured if you guys are already here, you probably watched Dynamite, so, we'll get to that here in a few minutes. So starting off in the wrestling news this week, I think everybody has heard, the Bella Twins are now gone from the WWE. They have removed all mentions and references of the Bellas from their social media and all of that stuff. And they've replaced it with Garcia. So they are now called the Garcia Twins. They said that they're excited moving forward in this new chapter in their life, and they can't wait to go through the open door. That hearing that door word, I always can't help but think of, Forbidden Door. And, a lot of people are really, really against, at least that's the way I've been seeing it, really against having the Bella Twins show up in AEW. But I think there are some creative ways that they could get these girls in there. I think there's things that we could do, and this could actually be, they could pull it off. Coach Nick in chat says, "Are you alone tonight?" No, I'm pretty sure the lighting system just fell in King Rome's arena. I'm gonna have to call the installers there and raise a little hell.
No, it's all right. I'm back.
We're back. All right, let me go. Boom, we are good to go. So I have my thoughts on the Bellas coming to AEW, and I think it would be, one, let's say they get a backstage presence. What if they're there just to kind of coach some of these girls into the future and obviously be part of, some of those backstage behind the scenes shows. As an as wrestlers, as talent in ring, I don't think that's what I want to see from the Garcias when they come here, if they come here. But what I am interested in is we do have the talkings around a new show with AEW, and there have been some rumblings of it being an all-female show. What would be your take if maybe they were like a general manager type figure on the all-females type show? I think that would be really good.
So number one, no to general managers. We don't need any more general managers for the rest of forever for in wrestling. Number two, so I got into a really interesting debate with Ed in the Discord about this. So here's the thing, right? Like, I think that AEW needs to do everything it can to continue to build their audience. Yes, that does include bringing in the casual fans. Yes, it does include bringing in fans that we, as the core audience, don't really care about. But it's important to make sure that you grow, especially in a contract year with the television ratings. So that's why I think that there is a strong argument to signing the Bellas, the Garcias. On the flip side, obviously, I understand that they may not be the most appealing signing in terms of the in-ring product, and I don't even know that they would be a great fit for AEW. But I would say this: I would say that they have the ability, especially with the Outcasts being what they are, they would absolutely be able to come in here as heels and managers at the very least. Like with see, the thing is, I think that there is value to signing them. Period. Not necessarily maybe as in-ring talent, but as a manager, as just someone who's on TV coming in and improving the storyline. Um, I think that that would work. But I also
Yeah,
see
me too.
the flip side of it.
I agree. Let's go to chat real quick. Welcome everybody. We got Coach Nick, we got the Coog, we got Juhas. Welcome everybody. Natasha as well. Thank you guys all for being here tonight. Jordan has made his return, Hausen. All right, we'll get to our next story here. So it looks like the WWE has begun efforts to allow gambling on their matches. This is absolute insanity to me, but somebody has actually chimed in here that, makes this a little bit more of a, relevant news story here. The BetMGM CEO was asked, "Are you interested in accepting wagers for the WWE scripted matches?" Rome, do you know what the CEO for BetMGM said here?
No, I actually don't. I haven't been online for
So
the last 2 days, so please
I just
tell me.
want you to take a stab. What do you think that the CEO of BetMGM said about having betting on scripted matches?
I would say my to summarize his thoughts, LOL, no.
He said, and I quote, "No fucking way."
Look, man, it's
Dude,
ridiculous. The fact, and you know what? Again, the fact that WWE fans would let this happen, like where they would, like WWE fans would absolutely legitimately gamble on these WWE matches, and that is terrifying to me. That is absolutely
dude,
insane.
I would probably make so much money. I'd be like, "Okay, what are all the fans betting on?" All right, I'm betting the opposite. I win. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
but that kind of segues into our next little story here. Speaking of betting, Warner Brothers Discovery is definitely betting on AEW with a possible third show for AEW. We've all heard that AEW Collision has been trademarked. Rumors are that it will air in the classic Saturday time slot of 6 p.m. And just talking about it, just hearing rumbles of it, this shows that Warner Brothers has massive faith in AEW as an overall brand. We're almost now getting to this would it be our fifth show or sixth show if we wound up having, another AEW show on Saturday?
Are you saying show as in like TV show or show as in like content block
Like
show?
content production, because you
I
would
mean,
imagine that it's going to spill over to TNT and TBS, even though they have Ring of Honor on the Honor Club and stuff like that. You would imagine some of it spills over, but
I would say at that point you're doing a show 6 days a week.
yeah,
You're
wild.
doing Dark Elevation, you're doing Dark, you're doing Dynamite, you're doing Ring of Honor, you're doing Rampage, and then you're doing Collision. Um, it's maybe a hot take. I would do the second hour of Rampage before I did a different day. I like I would argue that again, this is gonna be a hot take. You don't want to fall into the WWE trap of doing too many shows, right? Like
I can see it.
WWE had Raw at one point. I mean, like obviously now it's a little bit different, but like even now you could argue they're doing Raw, they're doing NXT, they're doing SmackDown, they're doing Main Event, and then they have a bunch of other content, which I guess it's not. I don't know. I don't mind Dark and Elevation existing, and obviously Ring of Honor is kind of its own thing. I would be somewhat cautious about having 3 different days with TV shows
Yeah.
just because you're asking a lot of a newcomer at this point. Like if you're a new fan turning on the TV and you're like, all right, well here's Dynamite and Rampage Wednesdays and Fridays. Okay, cool. At this point, you're asking a new viewer, and then Dark Elevation's kind of like, hey, if you're a hardcore, when you're ready, you can go watch Dark and Elevation. I just think, yeah, Natasha says 205. 205 was
Yeah.
a thing. I don't know. Obviously, I'm not going to say no to more Tony Khan made wrestling, produced wrestling. I think that that's going to be great. I
So
just think that I would limit the days. I would go 2 hours on Friday nights. I would start at 9 and go 9 to 11.
so let me throw something at you here because I actually wound up today. Like I was thinking about this all day, and
Mhm.
I actually did a little research. I went into the ratings for Saturday, right? On cable TV on a Saturday, TNT nor TBS have a single show on the entire day of Saturday from morning till nighttime that is in the top 100 of the ratings.
Well, sure, it's because TNT and TBS on the weekends just play Star Wars marathon, and, like, it's not knocking at
Yeah.
Star Wars. They're just filler. It's just filler. It's like,
Exactly.
hey, movie marathons. No, I think that Collision would do very well in that time slot.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a thought about whether it would do well or not. I would just be concerned about when is too much in terms of
Yeah.
so you're expecting a non-hardcore like viewer to tune in Monday through Saturday, and then if there's a pay-per-view on a Sunday, what are you going to do? If there's a pay-per-view on a Saturday,
Yeah.
two Khan's pay-per-views a year run on Saturdays during the NFL season because he will never compete with the NFL, which thank God for that.
Yeah.
But it just I don't know, man. It seems like a lot, and obviously we have to see how it plays out. And again, I'm not going to complain about more Tony Khan produced wrestling, but I mean, again, you're like you're talking about Monday through Saturday and then Monday through Sunday on pay-per-view weeks.
Yeah.
That's a
Well,
lot. It
the
is a
only
lot.
thing I'm saying is without having a single show in that top 100, I don't think the ratings would have to be very amazing at all for them to be happy with it, you know?
I completely agree. That's what I'm saying. They could
Yeah.
go out there and pull 200,000
Oh, and they'd be
and
super, yeah, they'd be ecstatic with that.
exactly. And like that, and that's why it probably will happen. Um, but again, I mean, though I'm just looking at it from a logistic perspective.
Yeah.
That is a lot. Like right now, as a fan, I'm watching AEW on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and then Ring of Honor when my Honor Club fucking works. On
Right.
Thursday. So it is a lot.
It is, but we shall see, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go ahead and get to it here, everybody. We're going to go ahead and start up with the AEW Dynamite review from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. And man, Canada crowds are something different. You just always know that they're absolutely going to bring it because they don't get wrestling out there extremely often, especially from the big guys. So, this was an amazing crowd here in Winnipeg tonight. And man, this first segment might have been one of my favorite segments in AEW history. I mean, it is definitely one of my top 5 favorite segments in AEW history. The re-bar mitzvah of MJF. And oh my God, this was absolutely freaking incredible. I see you picked up the mic there. Take it away.
So this opening segment is the greatest opening segment in Dynamite history. It just is. Um, just because of how the fact that they've gotten to this point, the fact that the the pillars have been a success. So obviously MJF comes out for his rebar mitzvah. Number one, everyone did a great job in this promo in this segment for just how they establish who they are as heels and faces. MJF comes out.
With the
He's in
girls.
with girls, makes out with one. He's in Canada, so of course he's gonna say Brett sucks, Sean was better, which is gonna like okay, like that's it right there. That's all you need.
Yep.
Then he shits on every religion except for Judaism, and he's like I am Iron Man after
Oh, that
being
was
Jameson, and then so they start doing this bar mitzvah, and it's hilarious. Which I understand, like that is their culture, so it's like it's not bad, but it's just funny to see like they go from like MJF shitting on the crowd to like okay, well, now we have to clap to go along with the music, and so
yeah.
they're doing the whole bar mitzvah thing, and it's great. And whose music hits but Jack fucking Perry, right? And then they're about to talk, and then Sammy Guevara comes out, and then they're about to talk, and then Darby Allin comes out. Now, Jeff, last week I speculated that this is the direction that we were going in,
Yep.
and it would seem that I am correct. So
We
flower.
stop for 1 second and talk about that magical hat that appeared on MJF's head out of nowhere while
Yeah,
Darby was coming to the ring.
I was going to mention that. I don't know, man. That was crazy. I don't know where he
This
had that hat.
this Burberry or leopard print freaking Jamiroquai hat appears on MJF's head out of freaking nowhere. And I lost my shit, dude. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah. So the pillars come out, and MJ's like, "What do you guys even want?" And all three at the same time say, "We want a title match." Fucking
Oh,
amazing.
dude, the way they said it in unison was so perfect.
Yeah. And then what we get next is honestly, and you could agree or disagree with this, I think that you see the best promos that Jack Perry, Darby Allin, and Sammy Guevara have ever given. I think that all three guys come out and again they establish themselves. They're the pillars. They all just have their differences that make them unique from each other, and they're just such strong characters. Like it was just amazing, man. So Jack Perry starts first. Jack talks about how he busted his ass on Dark, Elevation, and Rampage after his match with MJF 2 years ago at Double or Nothing. Um, and Jack says like, hey man, like we've all wrestled on Dark and Elevation and Rampage. You've never wrestled on any of those shows. You know, I busted my ass while you were handed every opportunity that you've ever been given.
So, is that true that MJF has never even been on Rampage?
He's never been on Rampage.
That is crazy that I've never noticed that.
So, yeah, he's never been on Rampage. Jack says that that MJF's been pulling the same hokey bullshit that he's done for the past 4 years. MJF starts off by saying he's a star. Sammy Guevara cuts him off, says, "You better be careful, or I'm going to turn this bar mitzvah into a circumcision."
That was
Hilarious.
such a good line, dude.
And then we get again, man, like this is the Sammy is back. Like we've been talking for the last few weeks, where I'm just like, I don't care about the Sammy sucks discourse at this point. Like at this point, you're just being a hater. Like, and then we get what really is like Sammy's best promo to date. Sammy talks about how he had to bust his ass to get here. He's talking about how he worked all these dead end jobs to fund his dream, working at Subway and all this bullshit. And he's like, Max, you just kissed ass to get here. You haven't worked for anything. You haven't done any of this shit. Um, Sammy goes on to say, I was supposed to be Jericho's bump guy. I was supposed to be the inner circle job guy when I was brought into AEW. I never had the machine pushing me. Um, and again, just best promo from Sammy Guevara I've ever seen. And then I'm going to give kudos to Sammy because at this point, Sammy is working as a babyface in this promo. This was an outstanding babyface promo where this dude is legitimately pouring his heart out, you know, to the crowd and to us watching at home. And so, what does Sammy do when he's done? He insults the Canadian fans. And people may say, "Oh, that's kind of random." No, it's because he's the heel, and he needs to continue to work the heel side of this dynamic.
Yeah, exactly.
Plus, he's still a heel with the JAS, so you can't have Sammy cut a babyface promo and then just act like he didn't just cut a babyface promo. But the weight of what he says is just so powerful, much like Jack. Then we get to Darby. Darby Allin again, best promo by Darby Allin in my opinion. Darby says in 2013 he was a film school student and his teacher said you're gonna have to change everything about you if you're gonna make it. Darby said, well, shit, I'd rather just drop out then. I want to be me. I don't want to change for anybody. I don't want to do anything differently. I want to make it my own way. So then Darby says, you know, he quits. He drops out of that film school that day, and he says it's the best decision he ever made. He signs up for his first pro wrestling school, and on day one he says, I'm either going to make it as Darby Allin or I'm going to fail as Darby Allin, and that statement just encompasses the character that is Darby Allin and probably the human being as well. This was just excellent, just phenomenal. And then Darby goes on to talk about how AEW can give him more than any amount of money can. He says, I'm a terrible businessman because I'm never going to do a bidding war. He says, my number one problem with this company, and again, this is just Darby, like Darby's just fucking crushing it here, man. Darby
He's
said,
killing it.
my number one problem with the company is these whiners and complainers on Twitter, like Bald FTR, for example. And he's just like, oh, when I'm not getting my way. And he's like, and the bidding war is stupid, and just stop talking shit about leaving. And I'm just like, and just man, just so good. Darby goes on to say, then he jokes, he's like, and if I don't get my title match, I'm just gonna complain on Twitter like everyone else. Thought that was funny. So MJF gets mad, takes his glasses off. He looks like shit because of the Iron Man match, and then all three of them react like, "Oh, you look like shit, dude. Put the glasses back on. Stop." MJF says that Sammy Guevara, his name is Sammy, gonna propose to a new girl in 9 months, Guevara. Sammy says, "Did your fiance leave you?" Which is just an amazing, amazing clapback.
Yeah.
At this point, MJF admits that the four of them are pillars. He's like, but I'm the only one actually holding up the ceiling. Even though and it's smart storytelling in wrestling because you don't want to completely bury your opponents. He admits, like, hey, you guys are, along with me, the four of us are the present and the future of the wrestling industry, but you guys still aren't on my level. He's like, thank you, screw you, bye. And then we get this amazing cake spot to end it where he gets brawl breaks out after he kind of pie faces Jack Perry, and MJF goes flying into the table with his cake, and he's like holding the cake as he falls over. Yeah, so this was absolutely an home run, excellent promo segment. I mean,
So
all
good.
four guys are the pillars of the company. This was the realization, like the coming to life of the idea of what AEW could be when it first was created, in a sense that, like, when Tony Khan started AEW, these were the four guys along with Hangman. It's more like five, but these are the four guys that Tony Khan was like, 5-10 years from now, these are the guys that I'm booking this company around. And here we are. It's kind of like a beautiful moment in and of itself, where you see it. Like, all four of these guys come out. They're all stars at this point. Like, they're like, no one was carried in this segment. Nobody didn't do their part. No one didn't get crowd reactions. It was just everybody coming in with excellent promos, excellent character building, and smart character building as well. And yeah, this was an all-timer segment. I could talk for probably another hour about this segment. This was just perfection.
And this segment set the tone for the entire rest of this episode of Dynamite, man. I thought this entire episode just absolutely killed it.
Yeah.
Next up we had Chris Jericho. They were showing a nice little video package of him in Winnipeg accepting a little sign that was kind of it was a street sign, I guess. So he got a city street named after him called Chris Jericho Way. That was kind of cool.
So not only was it just any street, it was his childhood street.
Oh, the street he lived on as a child?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, come on, man. Like, that's like, oh man, the street I grew up on is now called Chris Jericho Way.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Next up, we had the Blackpool Combat Club, Moxley, Claudio, and Wheeler Yuta versus the Dark Order, Evil Uno, and Stu Grayson making his return back to AEW, along with Hangman Adam Page. Stu got himself a nice pop in Canada. Did you see anything or hear anything of whether he's back for good or he was just getting used because we were in Canada? Do you know?
I think it might just be the latter. I'm hoping it's not the case. Honestly, if I'm Tony Khan, I don't know how much money Stu's asking for that you can't sign him at this point. Like, I don't know what it is. What would be really great, I would love to see Stu and Uno in Ring of Honor in that tag division, because that's a very realistic tag division for them to win gold, and I think they definitely deserve it.
For sure.
And so real quick,
what's up, Darth?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what's up, Darth? We will get to that when we get to that part of the show, because that's a big part of that segment there.
Yeah. So real quick, I want to touch on something the Coog said, kind of backpedal a little bit. He says none with the Fed stench on their resumes too. Yeah. So going back to the pillars, that's what's so incredible about it. Like, these guys are all homegrown talent that have come in here and have just done amazing. And it's just, man, you got to give it to Tony Khan because again, it happens throughout this show. You know what I mean? Like the Hangman thing next, and then Jade and the Acclaimed, excuse me, and Ricky Starks and the GOAT QT Marshall. You know, like all these guys. I'm
So,
getting ahead of myself.
Coog, have you seen the clip of MJF in NXT as a security guard and Samoa Joe shoves him up against the wall? You got to check out that clip, Coog. So this match, man, this match was freaking awesome. We started out with Evil Uno and Wheeler Yuta just going 100 miles an hour, just beating the snot out of each other in this one. Um, I loved every minute of this. And, you know, if Stu wasn't planned on coming back for good, after this performance from Stu, they really better be thinking about it because, my God, Stu looked incredible here. He was in there 3/4 of the match, I would imagine, right? Like, he was in there a very good chunk of this match.
Well, I think a small thing, maybe to be optimistic about, and this could also just be nothing. So later in the night, they're talking about in the main event because I'm not going to
You're
spoil
right.
it yet, but the BCC get involved, and they do mention that Uno was taken to the hospital due to his injuries sustained in this match,
And
and
Stu
Stu
is
was
with
with
him.
him. So
Yeah.
if I'm Tony Khan and I'm booking this and Stu isn't coming back, I would have it where Stu is the one that hurt in the hospital selling the injury. That's just me. It's a small thing. I don't know if
No,
it
yeah,
means
that
anything.
definitely makes me think he might be back. We'll see.
It's just I think it leaves a window open because like if you're booking, like obviously Stu takes the tap out here. It's the same principle. So like
Yeah.
by that design, shouldn't Stu be the one that gets sent to the hospital? Because you want to protect your talent in terms of you know what I'm saying. You want to protect your
Yeah,
talent.
yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see.
Yeah, well, I thought this match kicked freaking ass. Uno and Stu got to hit all of their finishers. They got to hit the Wombo combo, only got a 2 count. Then they got to hit the fatality, which was one of my favorite moves back in the early days of AEW. Only got a 2 count on that one as well. You know, Wheeler Yuta came in with the save. And what was that you were going to say there?
I just wanted to point out how fucking awesome it is that John Moxley and Hangman Adam Page get into the ring and the crowd just blows up.
Yeah.
And again, man, like this is how you do it. This is like my God, I feel like a broken record on this show. But it's like this is how you do it. This is how you book these guys to do meaningful things to the point where people get excited for matchups and for rivalries. Like it would be like if you booked a match between like I don't know Brock Lesnar and Omos, right? And they had like
Omos.
they had some match at like the biggest stage in that industry, in that company, and like it'd be like, I mean, what if it was Brock's last match, right? Like that would have to be an
And
exciting match, right, Jeff?
and you could give
Yeah.
them one spot on Monday Night Raw with one spot to do and still fuck it up, right?
Right. This is all hypothetical, right? This isn't all actually happening, is it?
Oh boy.
Hmm.
The Coog says sign Stu ASAP. He was possessed tonight.
Oh, he was awesome. Stu absolutely killed it. It was an
Yes.
excellent showing by Stu Grayson.
So Claudio does wind up hitting a massive pop-up uppercut onto Stu. Mox puts him in the rear naked choke, taps him out, but Moxley refuses to let go. He actually squeezes it on tighter. He winds up putting him in the bulldog choke and just won't let go. And they pile driver Evil Uno into the mat, pretty much taking him out. Did they do it a couple times? Because I didn't see exactly what was selling Evil Uno going to the hospital per se, but it did look like they pile drove him a couple of times, right?
They did.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
All right, so Silver Reynolds make the save, and the Blackpool Combat Club is now 100% in heel mode. They are getting booed like you would not believe, and I'm here for it, man. I love the idea of Wheeler Yuta as a heel. He actually comes across as a much more believable character than when he's being a nice guy, doesn't he?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just great, man. Look, all right, I'm just gonna say it. This is an all-timer episode of Dynamite. I think
Yeah, man.
everything hits tonight. I think I said it at the beginning of the show. I don't know. I'm going off a 3 hours sleep last night, so excuse me if I ramble.
Dude,
Um, but I think that this is an all-time episode of Dynamite. Like this is just
dude. Even the
so
nine, even the dreaded 9:20 segment left me like, okay, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, so we'll get to that here in a little bit as well. Next up, we had a really good video package promo by Juice Robinson on Ricky Starks. He just basically said Ricky ain't gonna do shit, and that was that. And I love Juice Robinson, so I'm glad they're putting him on the main stage, I guess would say now. And I really hope we get some Bullet Club members coming over with him. This would be really a dream come true for me to get the actual Bullet Club over here rather than just one or two guys every now and then.
well, we'll talk about it when we get to the next part
Yep.
of it. Yeah.
Next up after that, we had a quick recap from the Rebar Mitzvah and, the promos from the Four Pillars and everything like that. Saw MJF's face go into the cake again. That was nice. Next up, my wife's favorite wrestler, Jade Cargill, was facing her open challenger of Canada. So Jade Cargill made an open challenge to anyone in Canada to make a challenge for her. And it wound up being a young lady that I have never heard of, Nicole Matthews. Apparently she's a big star around the indies. She's been to Japan. She's been all over the place. I'm not sure who she is, but she got absolutely annihilated in about 30 to 40 seconds here with the pump kick and the Jaded. And I could tell right away what was going on because Jade stood up and she's like, "That's it? That's it? That's all you guys got?" And I was like, "Oh, that ain't all that Canada's got. Let's go." I looked over at the wife and I was like, "Taya Valkyrie's coming." And sure enough, so hold on. Renee Paquette hops in the ring.
Yeah.
And she goes to interview Jade saying, "Who's next for you?" And Jade just starts punking Renee Paquette into the corner saying, "Hey, aren't you from Canada? Aren't you from Canada?" And all of a sudden, Taya Valkyrie's music hits. La Wera Loca herself comes down to the ring. And I think they did this absolutely perfectly. They get Jade to kind of, she gets Taya to turn. Layla Gray works her way around behind Taya Valkyrie. Jade steps out of the ring, and Layla Gray looks like her job was to kind of take out Taya. She fails miserably. Taya Valkyrie hits her with the Jaded, and the referees and all security come out and hold back Jade from going after Taya Valkyrie here. I thought this was way better than just having them, "Oh, here's a match between the two. Jade wins." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I really, really thought this was well thought out, and now we're going to get the match on Friday, right, on Rampage?
We're not getting that match. We're just getting a match with Taya.
Okay, so Taya will make her debut on Rampage, but we're going to be getting that match with Jade sometime in the future then?
I mean, you would think so. I think
Yeah.
it was number one. I think this is a really great signing by Tony Khan because it is official that she's all elite. The graphic has been posted and sent out by Tony Khan. I think this is a great signing for them. It adds a veteran presence to your locker room. Taya Valkyrie is a fantastic wrestler. She's got the look. She's great in ring. She can talk. Great addition to the roster, hands down. And also with the Outcast versus the Homegrown storyline, you need more women on the roster, especially if you're going to do this 1 hour show. And if it's a women's show, I don't know.
Absolutely. This is actually for me, this is actually a big deal. This really levels up the women's division here, like tremendously. Like a lot of people don't know how good this woman is. She is tremendous, and they leveled up that AEW championship belt tonight to the international championship. They definitely leveled up the women's division here as well. So I'm super happy for this.
Let me pose a question to you because I think that there's a lot going on elsewhere in the women's division. Do you think it makes sense for Valkyrie to be the one to beat Jade? Or let me rephrase that. Do you think it'll happen? Do you think it'll happen?
Okay, so I don't necessarily think it'll happen, but if it does, I 100% think it makes sense and I would be happy with it. I just don't think it's her.
And yes, she was in Impact.
Yes.
She did some work in Impact. She actually just finished up with Impact.
Yeah, she was just with the Demon Dolls, I think they were called. It was like a trio of her and my favorite women's wrestler, Rosemary, and I forget the other lady.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't watch Impact. I'm sorry.
Does anybody?
But yeah, man, I'm super stoked on this. This is a massive signing, and yes, we did get the graphic. Taya Valkyrie is all elite, and she is using the nickname La Wera Loca, which I believe she was given by, you know, the fans in Mexico in AAA, which means the crazy white girl, and she embraced it. She loves it. And if you haven't seen it, there is a picture of Taya Valkyrie sitting in like a king's throne chair with the Lucha Brothers on either side of her. Oh my God, that picture hits so hard. If you give me Taya Valkyrie with the Lucha Brothers, please give me it. Have Taya Valkyrie like kick Alex Ibrahante's ass and let him go back to commentary somewhere or something. I'm all for it. All right. Next up, we had Tony Schiavone with Ricky Starks. And Ricky Starks essentially responding to Juice. He says, bring it anytime, any place, my dude. Bring anybody from Bullet Club you want. And, anytime, any place.
Real quick, so I actually got a quick little scoop here more about Taya Valkyrie signing with AEW. Fightful spoke to Taya in early February, and she told Fightful that she hoped to nail down a long-term contract in 2023. So her being signed to AEW would say that it is a long-term contract, because that is what she was looking for. Fightful was told that several companies were made aware of her signing as far back as February. She's still scheduled and set for April Major League Wrestling tapings and intends to make those dates.
That's awesome.
So based off what she told Fightful, she wanted a long-term deal here, and if it's with AEW, it's a long-term deal.
Gotcha. Nice.
You can continue. Sorry.
Natasha says they were called the Death Dolls. There we go. And the other one was Jessica Havoc. Thank you, Natasha.
Yeah. This Ricky Starks promo was really good. Really enjoyed it. Again, another young guy doing great work. I do think that if Jay White's coming to AEW, this is how they're going to do it. Because Ricky says, like, I don't know why I keep picking fights with groups, but, Bullet Club, bring it. You guys haven't been relevant since 2013, which that's a shot at Jay White. Like that right there is straight up a shot at Jay White.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
just straight up, that is a.
Oof.
Oh yeah, they have been hot during Jay White's entire NJPW run. Like, oh okay. All right, well there you go.
Imagine a tag team match with Juice, Jay White versus Ricky and Action Andretti, man. Oof.
Yeah, it would be great.
That shit would slap.
All
right. Next up, we had a really, really cool video package, which I am glad they didn't go much further than this for the whole Shazam thing. But we got a really cool video package that was kind of like half a preview for the movie and half a preview for the Orange Cassidy versus Jeff Jarrett match. I actually thought that video package was really cool.
I think it's a real shame, honestly, because this was a really cool thing for WBD and AEW to kind of put together and work together on, especially considering that the AEW series finale is next week and they're going out of business because they're just the company, they're not going to find a TV deal next year, and I think it's a real shame. As a diehard AEW fan, it's been a ride, that's for sure.
Well, people are gonna think you're serious, man. Sarcasm.
I tried to hold a straight face. Did I do all right? How was that? Was that
You did great, actually. Yeah.
Thanks.
I love what Ed says here. He hopes the Switchblade comes to AEW just to see the E-Drones have to pivot again and be like, we didn't really want him anyway. Dude, I guarantee we're going to see so much of that shit, and it's going to be so funny to show them the receipts.
Yeah.
All right. Next up was, I think, I might just speak for myself here, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say this was both of our favorite segments of the night. QTV. The premiere episode of QTV. This was absolute gold. We had QTV, QT Marshall, and Big Willie Hobbs, and we also had Aaron
City.
Solo.
And RJ City was there.
RJ City was there. And let me get her name here for you guys. I had it. So it is Harley Cameron, the blonde. My God, I don't think I have ever seen a brand new wrestler, female in wrestling, and just been jaw on floor. And I was like, who is this? Someone please tell me who this is immediately.
Yeah, so Ed's been timed out because I can already see it. So I can see it formulating now. Do not piss off the Nightbot. He is also a QT Marshall fan. All right, so look, right, here we go. Right. Okay, number one, Jeff, I'm sorry.
You're fine. Take over.
I
Take
need to
over.
be serious because unironically, this was not my favorite segment of the night. That's a just because Ed wasn't here. No, I'm sorry. The opening and the close of the show are 7 stars. This is just 5 stars, right? So here's the thing. So we get QTV, and it is basically a TMZ ripoff with just a bunch of shitty people standing around in a circle gossiping about celebrities. And I'm just like, this is already amazing. This is already incredible. You got RJ City in the background, like hiding in a cubicle, which he tweeted afterwards that he actually rents out the office space to QTV. And I'm like, oh, what? Okay. Um, and you got Solo there, and just it's so good. So they're like, oh, it's a shame that somebody broke into Wardlow's car. And then they cut to the video, and it's fucking Aaron Solo. He broke into the car, took the belt. Just absolutely a QT bot showing some bias. Um, so this was just incredible, and then it's just a bunch of them sitting around just taking a dump on Wardlow, and I just had to write down some of these lines because they are honestly brilliant. And one of them is like a really timed reference at this point. Actually, they're all really timed references now that I look at it, and now I feel really old. So the first one, they say that Wardlow would be great on the Spike TV channel, which like Spike TV hasn't been a thing for like 10 years, I think. So that was a number one. The real ones who know Spike TV would know that Wardlow would absolutely, with his new haircut, absolutely fit on Spike TV. Number two, someone says they do the ruthless aggression to Wardlow. And then someone was like, I think QT's like, so what do you guys think is next for Wardlow? And Aaron Solo, who, my God, home run in this segment, did a great job, says, what next for he was like next for Batista, but not as good. So he calls him a rip off Batista. Great for this like TV channel. The ruthless aggression thing. Look, man, this was incredible. Natasha's not quite 10 years. Okay, it feels like it's been 10 years. I don't know. How long is I haven't watched Spike TV in 15, 20 years, so it doesn't matter. Anyways, okay, 2018. So it's only been 5. All right, thank you, Natasha. I didn't know. All right. That's still a pretty dated reference. So this was an absolute hilarious and super entertaining segment. Um, Look, man, I don't know what to say. I would, I know how to pick them. When I sit here, Jeff, and I tell you, there's something about this Orange Cassidy guy you guys need to pay attention. There's something about the Acclaim you need to pay attention. We go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So I was like, I'm sitting here, and I'm like, this QT Marshall fellow, there's something to him. And here we go. Number one, this could have been a lot lazier. They could have just done like a Miz TV type talk show segment, which there's nothing wrong with that if done well. But like this was way better. They did like a 90-second video package. It was hilariously done. Everybody, did good in it. I forget what is Harley Cameron. Harley Cameron was really funny. Solo was funny. RJ City just simply being there was funny. This was a super entertaining segment. And at the end of the day, that's the point of it. And that's why I'm going to continue to defend QT Marshall. That is my official Broken Tables podcast stance. QT Marshall, underrated, very talented. If you don't like the guy, someday you will. Remember when I said it about Cassidy? Remember when I said it about Hangman? Remember when I said it about the Acclaimed? Look at these guys. They're all the freaking stars of the entire company. I can't wait.
Listen,
It's
all
great.
I can say is sign Harley immediately. Because I can tell you right now, Vince has already seen her and he's already on the phone to Hunter like, you better sign her right now. You better get her in this. I don't care if she can wrestle. I don't care. I don't care. I want her in her right now.
So here's what happens with that, right? So sorry, just get into. So Vince sees this this Harley Cameron on television, and he just feels the need to call the Banana Nose Circus and say, "I know that you're pretending to run the show, so I need you to sign it, right?" So he goes to pick up the phone and he dials, and the phone rings, right? The phone rings to Triple Paul, and he doesn't answer. So Vince called again. It rings and rings,
No.
still no answer. And then he rings one more time, and still no answer. And Jeff, Triple Paul has abandoned his phone because he is currently cowering under a desk because he was sitting there at home in his empty home because no one wants to live with him, including his legally still married wife. And he's hiding under this desk because he has the television on and TBS is on. And who does he see marching down to the ring later in the show with a lead pipe? A lead pipe.
Dun, 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 dun,
And
dun,
Rico.
dun,
So
dun, dun.
Banana Nose Circus is at this point under the desk, just freaking out. And then just like, why won't he answer the phone? Damn it! And that's probably
Oh man, Natasha just ruined my night saying she is married to NXT star Zion Quinn. Damn it.
number one. I would use the term star very, very loosely. Number two, um, Jeff, it's okay that she's married to someone in WWE. It's not that big of a deal.
I know. All right, so this segment was awesome. I was really hoping that it was going to be good. I was really hoping that this whole thing with Hobbs and QT was going to be good. So I have a lot more faith now than I did, last Friday, but I think this is going to be great. All right, next up was the last and final defense of the All Atlantic Championship between Orange Cassidy and Double J Jeff Jarrett. What's up?
So this was not the last defense of the All Atlantic. It was the first defense of the
Okay.
international.
That's weird then, because Tony said last time it's going to be the last defense, but I guess he just maybe misspoke.
Well, at the beginning of the match, Orange Cassidy grabs the other belt.
Okay.
And yes, Coog, it is the truth. QT, he's great. He is a smart worker. And I think at the end of the day, the Natashas and the Eds of the world, God bless their hearts, you guys just get worked, which is great. You guys got worked. He's a heel. You don't like him?
And no, Natasha, I'm not upset that she's married. It was because she's married to someone over in the E, because I'm married myself, so But this match, man, this was, of all of these Orange Cassidy absolute bangers that he has been having over the past months. Hey, Taz used the word himself the other day. I'm allowed to use it at least once every once in a while.
So we still can't use it.
This was, I don't know. Maybe it's just because of recency bias, but this might have been one of the better Orange Cassidy matches I have seen. I thought this was incredible. And we have to talk about, as Orange Cassidy is coming down to the ring, oftentimes there is some young man, maybe 10 to 15, maybe 10 to 16 years old. He's always dressed like Orange Cassidy and gives the old, little hand bump thing. Who did we see on the entrance ramp tonight to give Orange Cassidy the little fist bump? But the old Shockmaster. Dude, I was laughing so hard, dude, when I saw this shit. I could not believe it. This guy looked exactly like him.
I think it might have been, actually, honestly. I think it might have been. Maybe it was.
I said the same thing. I was like, is that actually him?
So kudos to the commentary team, because the commentary team was outstanding tonight in general for the whole entire show, but they really had me popping here. They had me laughing because Excalibur says Stormtrooper Jones, and then Taz goes, "No, that's Shockmaster Jones." That was great.
Dude, I loved it. I was definitely I was laughing, man. I couldn't breathe for a minute there. I don't know why that was so funny for me, but I was dying. So we get a really, really good match here, and a lot of people were wondering how Jeff Jarrett was going to interact with, Cassidy's comedy, some of his spots, with the little kicks to the shins and stuff. But dude, we get Jeff Jarrett putting his hands into his trunks as if they're pockets, and he does the little kick spot to Orange Cassidy while he's on the ground. I thought this was perfect. Jeff Jarrett he knows, obviously, this guy is one of the best veterans you got out there. He knew how to work this crowd so well. He puts on the freaking sharpshooter in Canada. Like, dude, this match was great. I absolutely loved this from beginning to end.
Yeah, it was great. It was an awesome match. Orange Cassidy with his 16th straight title defense.
Yep. We had a huge ref bump in this one from Bryce Remsburg, man. Basically, Jeff Jarrett pushed Orange Cassidy straight into Remsburg, and I thought they really collided heads for a second. Like, they went face to face, and it looked nasty. So
All right.
Remsburg goes down. Oop, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your point because
So
I need to address Ed in the chat, but I'm going to let you can go ahead. It's not related, so go ahead.
Gotcha. So Remsburg goes down, and Sanjay Dutt throws the guitar into the ring. And just as Jeff Jarrett's about to take out Orange Cassidy with the guitar, Aubrey appears out of nowhere, and she rips the guitar out of Jeff Jarrett's hands, causing a roll-up from Orange Cassidy, but he only gets a 2 count. They did a really good spot here where essentially Satnam Singh winds up with the guitar, and he looks like he's gonna hit Orange Cassidy with it, but he kind of points to Aubrey like, "Oh, look at the big guy's got the guitar." So she throws out Satnam Singh and Sanjay Dutt, and while she's throwing them out, Remsburg gets back up and takes back control of the match. But he's still kind of like holding his head like, "Oh man, I'm so dizzy from getting taken out earlier." And Jay Lethal comes up from behind and absolutely annihilates Orange Cassidy with that Golden Globe. And I know you were sweating this one here. You said no doubt, but I know you were sweating this pin here. And we get a 2.99999. Orange Cassidy kicks out. I couldn't believe it. I thought that was it right there. I really did.
Yeah, I think that for number one, it's a testament to Jeff Jarrett. I mean, obviously, you know what Orange Cassidy is capable of, but this time, like a couple months ago, people were shitting on the Jeff Jarrett signing, and just man, what a great job that Jeff Jarrett's done, man. Like this guy has absolutely come in here and shown that he can hang in AEW. I mean, obviously, people give him a lot of shit for being
Seriously.
like an old carny and like the bree woo.
Dude,
But
he
like
looked great.
that's what I'm saying. No, like, so the Kook even says JJ gets a lot of heat, but that dynamic is drastically shifting. A lot of the Twitter folk that I partake in viewing their opinions on the internet, like they were originally very down on the Bree Woo man, but now
Dude,
people are just like, nah, man, this guy's killing it. Like he deserves all the credit in the world. This like it, it's impressive. It is extremely impressive that Jeff Jarrett, in this stage of his career, is coming in here and just doing really excellent work with a generation and a generation of guys and a company of guys that many assumed he would not be able to do this with. And at the end of the day, like you got to give him his flowers. That's the thing here on the Broken Tables podcast, where I am all about giving people their flowers. Right? Got to
mm-hmm,
give him his flowers. That's just the way it is. It's just
100%.
fact. Just
And anybody who's watching this, if you just so happen to not have caught Dynamite, or you don't watch AEW, and let's say you're one of those people that makes fun of AEW for having Jeff Jarrett, you absolutely need to see this match, and you will be like, "Oh, I'm dumb. Never mind." Like, Jeff Jarrett looked every bit of a professional veteran in there. I thought this match was incredible. I really thought Jarrett was gonna win it. I thought they were gonna pull the trigger and try to get that massive heat, but I'm glad they didn't. I love me some Orange Cassidy. I really want to see where this belt gets taken next.
So Ed says that his only issue with JJ is that they have a deep roster with talent that could be used, but he's doing great work right now. So I would say that you could make that argument for anybody getting used or not getting used in AEW.
Yeah.
So like that's not a fair thing to say to Jarrett. I mean, look, we can't sit here and complain that AEW isn't pushing young guys because that's just straight up not factual. Go
Yeah.
up and down this show tonight that we're talking about between the pillars at the beginning and Hangman and Starks and the GOAT QT Marshall, like
Juice. Yeah.
Juice.
Yeah.
Like there's so many young guys. QT's not that old, right? He's like 29, right? You
Yeah.
know? Uh, I don't think he's
Got to put
20.
a
Like,
couple of old vets in there.
yeah, exactly. Like you need that, and that works, and it makes sense to do that. So like it's all right. And yes, the Cook says, give that man a cigar. He deserves it.
And
Sorry, go ahead.
like I said, he looked great. And I don't mean his in-ring work. Like he physically looked great, man. Like I couldn't believe it. I was props to him. He looks better than I do. I'm only 37, right?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about
I don't know. I have to do the
that.
math there one day. I'm not even sure anymore.
Yeah. So I something that I really loved in this match, a spot was so Orange Cassidy, he grabs the guitar and then Satnam takes the guitar from him.
Yeah.
And so Orange Cassidy, he tries to do the Eddie Guerrero, and in ultimate Orange Cassidy fashion, puts no effort into it because instead of like falling down and like hitting the ground, making sure he made a noise on the mat, so the ref turns around, he tugs on the ref's shoulder, and in front of the referee, falls down. Like, come on, man, this is so good. This is hilarious. He is just like, okay. Ugh. Like what?
Yeah, it was really good.
And you know what's even funnier? It works. The ref's like, get out of here.
Yeah. So after Lethal hits him with the Golden Glove, we get a 2 count. Really huge, enormous pop here. Like the crowd went insane. Lethal on the outside, and Trent comes down to ringside and hits Lethal with a huge spear. That distracts Jeff Jarrett just enough to take an orange punch straight to the face, and Orange Cassidy picks up the win. 1, 2, 3 in an absolutely incredible championship match here. I mean, the new name, I love it. This was great from beginning to end, and this just keeps on going with another incredible episode of Dynamite so far.
And props to Orange Cassidy also in this match does a 1-foot kip up.
Yeah, one-footed kip up. He was selling his knee, landed on 1 foot. That was nice.
All right, so real quick before we move forward, you just need to touch on it because I'm tired of Ed making this comparison. This is the one Ed keeps going to, right? Because I said QT's great, and he's like, "What about Baron Corbin?" Right? And I'm like, "All right, stop," because Baron Corbin is absolute dog shit. He's a terrible heel who does not elicit overly negative reactions from the crowd in a sense that he's doing something heelish. This guy has failed to get over in multiple gimmicks in his time in WWE. He started off as the Lone Rider or whatever, the Lone
The
Wolf,
Lone Wolf.
which was basically, like, I'm just going to call it for what it is, a ripoff of a mix between Roman Reigns and the American Badass Undertaker gimmick. That's what it was.
It was his only character that worked, in my opinion. But yes, keep going.
Well, I mean, I would say it was the most successful, but I
Yeah.
didn't think it was any good. I personally thought it was terrible. I didn't think
I did not enjoy him. We'll put it that way. Yeah.
he just didn't. He seemed expressionless. He had no interest. Like he looked like he had no interest in existing when he was the Lone Wolf Baron Corbin, right? Like the dude
Yeah.
just came out and
He reminded me of like a character from a Twilight book.
he reminded me of someone who like wasn't actually trying to make people feel some sort of way. He just felt like I'm just walking. I'm just here. It's me. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get a paycheck.
I'm scary looking.
I used to play football, but I wasn't able to do it. Number 2, so he gets to the main roster or whatever. He becomes like the GM, I think, right? Wasn't he like the general manager for a time? And
I don't think so. I have no idea.
he was either a GM or he was like a GM's assistant. I honestly don't remember, but I just remember him not wrestling for the longest time and him just being some sort of authority figure, which was lame. And then he became like he was sad Corbin because he like again just the geekiest of fucking shit, like where it's like I lost all my money even though I'm still signed with World Wrestling Entertainment. I'm poor. I'm so sad. And like there are so many things you could do for money, and you're like, no, I'm gonna be poor. Like that's my gimmick. I'm
Yeah.
a poor homeless man. And then he like gets money, and he's like, oh, I'm happy Corbin now. and like his promos have been bad. He hasn't. I would beg you to send something good that Baron Corbin's done my way, please. Actually, don't. But it doesn't exist. I don't want to see it anyway.
Yeah.
Um,
Now, I do remember a time where QT was it had to be the feud with Cody where they're like feuding on the bus and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like that's about the only time that I can really remember where QT was quote unquote over. Like he wasn't really over. It was just people were still hating Cody and
yeah. So here's the thing, right? Like Ed, the thing about Corbin is he's not a decent promo. He's not good.
Yeah. I see
And
where both you guys are coming from though. Like I could totally see how somebody would look at it from Ed's point, and then I can totally see how somebody would look at it from yours too. That's a tough one for me.
here's the thing. I think Ed is not remembering correctly the work that QT's done with live crowds. Like I think he's
Yeah, like
thinking
the
of
first
again,
2
like
years.
you said, the feud with Cody, which the feud with Cody was not very good, and he was a very generic babyface because it just the dynamic of the Rhodes Academy. But at the end of the day, if you look at his time as a heel with the Factory, Jeff, we've been there live
Yeah.
3 or 4, like we've seen him live like 4 times at this point. This guy constantly gets the Philly crowd to boo him,
Oh
and
yeah.
not in a go away heat. It's legitimately like he knows how to get people to boo him. Remember the stuff he did with the Dark Order and -1? The negative reaction he was getting there was a heel's reaction. The fact that off the top of my head I can name instances with QT Marshall, that tells you that he is not in the same class as Corbin.
I think I'm in Natasha's corner here. QT is Corbin if Corbin had hair, but the hair makes a huge difference. I think I agree.
He's balding, isn't he?
Oh, it's gone. Like yeah, it's gone.
No, and look, QT is not that bad. He is a solid, strong heel. It like you. I don't know, man. I
Here,
feel like I'm
I
talking
have
about wall. I feel
I
like I'm
have the
talking about
perfect
wall.
way to put it for you. QT in his current character is easily digestible on my TV right now. Baron Corbin in his current character is not. I cannot watch this a second of that.
I think that you're being a little too nice to Corbin and not nice enough to QT. I think even before this, the QT stuff at the Factory was generally well done. Not to mention that he's actually adding value to the company by training behind the scenes.
Oh,
Like
absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
you're just like you're comparing two guys who are just not on the same level. And again, like this isn't me saying that QT is a star. This isn't me saying QT should be in contention for a title. And it seems like QT is going a managerial route here, which is honestly awesome. Like,
Yeah.
like I'm sorry. But yeah, I think
What
that
up,
the
Dragon?
dislike
Didn't QT have a hair transplant? I would have no clue.
I don't know. I think the QT dislike from Ed,
I
mostly
tell
Ed,
you what
I
though,
think it's so overblown. Like it's just not accurate.
I tell you what, people are definitely talking about QT right now, and when they're talking about Corbin, they're not it's not very good when they're talking about him. That's all I can say. But we'll move on here because we had an absolutely fantastic music video drop. A new acclaimed music video dropped here. I thought this was freaking fantastic. I know you loved it, right?
Yeah, I thought it was awesome. It was a really fun rap. It wasn't like a diss track. It was just like a, hey, we love the fans and we're going to keep doing.
I
Uh,
I
no,
have a
see,
feeling we're gonna get an album. I really do.
I don't get triggered, Ed. It's laughable to me. See, I'm all about education. I want to educate you and help you understand. It's not a triggered thing. I don't really care if you like them or not. But I'm trying to help you, Ed, because you seem like a nice guy. So I'm just trying to like lead you in the right direction, because this is what I do for the people. Like there's a reason why I'm the Broken Predictions champion, the reigning defending,
There you
two
go.
time. Not only am I the longest reigning? My two reigns are the two longest reigns. I am a two-time champion. Like I've only lost one match in Broken Predictions history. Like, come on. Like, no. Like we have to look, man, don't. I'm not triggered. I'm just trying to
All
help.
good. You got yourself a new member of the King's Court there with Dragon. That actually makes sense. Dragon is in the King's Court.
Absolutely.
Great music video here. I'm actually gonna do a little research. I'm gonna try to I'm gonna download the music video and then I'm gonna upload it, like not to actually like, not public, but to see if I get copyright warning from it, because I believe they let us play the videos off of the AEW channel. And if they allow this video to be played, I would love to play this on Friday night for the Rampage review. So that would be really cool. Next up was the dreaded 920 segment that everybody's always talking about. And we got the Outcasts, the Ruby Soho, Saraya, and Tony Storm. And I have to tell you, this actually left me wondering what's going to happen here. And I was actually very into this. So that 920 segment doesn't bother me much at all. You know, we got some more talking shit on the crowds, you know. Tony or Saraya, I think it was, called him a bunch of neckbeard stinky twats. She almost broke Tony Storm with that one. Tony Storm started laughing, and then she's like, Tony, she's like, you take it away. She tried to give it to her in the middle of her laughing. Yes, Ed, it was 9:22 when Ruby first got on the mic there, I believe. At least that's when I looked at my phone. You know, Tony Storm had a line in this that said, you know, when I was champion, nobody cared. And I was like, I cared. My wife cared. I'm like, we paid money to come see you at the meet and greet, and we held the belt. Like, we cared.
Yeah, but then other people like Juhas, you know, he actually didn't pay for it. He didn't pay.
I don't know, man. I felt personally attacked here, but, you know. Anyway, she mentioned Jamie Hayter. And, of course, if you mention the champ's name, she shall show up. And, boy, did she show up with DMD. And they just ran straight to the ring for that fight, huh?
Man, I think it's fun. I don't know if the live stream caught up in time, but you're talking about paying for the meet and greet. I'm like, well, Juhas didn't pay for the meet and greet. And then Juhas in the chat, I paid nothing.
So, yeah, we snuck Juhas into the meet and greet. He just kind of, attached to it. You did, whatever, sure.
We did not sneak him in. He snuck himself in.
Okay, yes.
I did nothing to aid him. He literally. So the story is that Juhas, the second best competitor in the Broken Predictions division, much better than you, Jeff. You're still waiting on that grudge match, by the way.
I'm the only one that's tied with you, sir. You're lucky that the draw goes to the champion.
You know, if you don't like it, pick one match better than me. Anyways, so Juhas shows up, and the guy was like, hey, get out of here. And Juhas was like, okay. And then Juhas turned right back around and went into the bathroom, which was behind him. Like, this geek of an employee. I don't know what this guy was thinking. Like, Juhas was like, I'm just going to use the bathroom. He walks into the bathroom, walks out, and just goes into the room. It's like, eh.
Yeah, and he basically just stood next to us like he was with us the whole time. It was great.
I'm glad you were there because he took my pictures with the Acclaim, so I'm extremely grateful for Juhas. Juhas and I going to the New Japan Pro Wrestling show, ringside seats in April. Very excited.
I'm jealous, man. I wish I'd have bought him along with you. I just didn't even think about it. All right, so this actually turned out really awesome here because Tony Storm and Saraya and Ruby Soho kicked the crap out of Jamie Hayter and Britt Baker because it's 3-on-2. And as they're, you know, proceeding with an epic beatdown here, whose music do we hit but Triple Paul's most feared adversary, Riho, coming to the ring. And dude, I think Triple Paul's gonna have freaking nightmares after this one. Riho coming to the ring with a pipe in her hand. Oh, my goodness, those are things of nightmares for Banana Man. I mean, I pray that he doesn't, you know, I pray that he at least gets some sleep tonight. He's got some work ahead of him for SmackDown, if he's even in charge anymore. So, this was excellent. We get Riho and Willow and, I'm missing one, crap, and Sky Blue. So it's now 5-on-3 here. The Outcasts scatter. They, you know, they don't want any part of this 5-on-3. And this is where my brain just started racing because we're missing 2. Count them. 1, 2. And, you know, as much as I said it earlier, I don't really want the Garcia twins, or formerly known as the Bella twins, as an in-ring presence. This wouldn't be a terrible terrible way to bring them in. Give them a match for their introduction, but keep them, as much as you can out of the ring. And if we're going to be doing like a 5-on-5 type thing, I mean, I think I'm here for it, man. Especially since we've been kind of predicting this is going to be a women's blood and guts match. What if the Bellas, one of them's married to Bryan Danielson, you know what I mean? She can't be squeamish to blood at all. What if they're down for a blood and guts match, dude?
I don't know. Hold on, I'm sorry. After Dynamite, there's a stare down. We'll talk about it later. I'm watching what happened post show.
Oh, post show, yeah, that's gonna be really good. I can't wait to see that.
Oh man.
Technically, you could post that into the Discord. I could probably show that. I don't think that is copyrighted.
No. Sorry. Anyways, yeah, I really love this segment, this women's segment with the Outcast. I just thought it was really well done. It moves the story along. There's 3 of the Outcasts. They get a really cool new entrance theme. Looked good. Love the appeal. They're going with the color with the green black aesthetic, which I'm a big fan of the green black aesthetic. I love that color scheme. So that was really cool. And yeah, just it was great. And Britt and Jamie get jumped, and Riho, Sky Blue, and Willow come out. Riho with a steel pipe, which like so out of character for Riho, but at the same time just so badass.
Dude, I just want to talk about Riho's outfit. Like, you could not create like a cuter human being, man. I was like, look at her, she's so cute.
Yeah, this was really excellent though. Again, this nothing missed tonight. This was an excellent Dynamite, and this is just it was really good.
Yeah, I thought it was just fantastic here. And like I said, it does, like Natasha said, she fears the Garcia twins joining is where we're heading. I don't mind it. I really don't. We'll just have to wait and see. I don't know. Maybe only one of them can still compete in the ring. I'm not sure. I think Natasha said one of them has a neck problem. Maybe it's only one of them and they come as like a kind of a package deal. You know what I mean? I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. But I thought this segment was awesome. This actually made me really, really wonder where this is going now. Jordan coming in the chat saying, big AEW signing. Sarah Stock has joined AEW after leaving the Performance Center to be a coach/trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Saw that today.
All right. Can't be a 7-on-7. No way, Coog. That'd be too much. I think we're at the limit on... I think we have our 5 AEW girls now. Like, I think that's been set.
No, because what about Sheeta?
Where's Sheeta been, though?
She's been in Japan nursing an injury.
Yeah, so...
Right, but she's not going to be gone till past May.
No, but I think if she's got an injury, you're probably going to remove her from this story, and when she comes back, maybe put her into the World Championship story after Ruby or something.
What do you mean? She was part of the storyline at the beginning and then would just disappear.
Yeah. I have no idea, you know what I mean? I don't know what the injury is or anything, but it just doesn't feel like she's a part of it right now.
I'm just saying that like the way the story was started, it absolutely comes back to her coming back and picking a side, but it doesn't make sense for her to join the Outcast, so I don't know.
That's a good point, though.
I know, that's why I said it.
All right. Next up, we had Daddy Magic and Angelo Parker saying that they loved the music video. They love rap music.
Love rap musics.
I made his nipples hard, and did you notice Daddy Magic's eyes? They looked absolutely insane. He was wearing a gold jacket. His eyes matched his jacket. Like, his eyes were literally the color gold of his jacket. I don't know. That was weird. I couldn't look away.
Yeah.
This was okay. Next up was something that I was not expecting, and I absolutely Ray Fenix cut himself a promo fully in English, accepting Big Willie Hobbs' open challenge for Rampage. So we're gonna get Hobbs versus Ray Fenix, and man, I am all here for that one. Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm down for it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, and next up, it's time for the main event with the AEW World Trios Championships between the House of Black, the Elite, and the Jericho Appreciation Society. Holy shit, man. The entrances and the feel for this match. This felt like a pay-per-view, did it not?
It was absolutely a big fight feel. Absolutely. Just
Yeah, this felt like when I was younger and I was watching like Stone Cold versus Shawn Michaels, and fucking Mike Tyson was ringside and shit like that. Like this felt really, really crazy to me. Like it just felt like a main event of a pay-per-view out of nowhere. It was just like boo. And I was like, wow, this is something. And we start off with Brody King in the ring, who just annihilates everybody basically, and nobody wants to be in the ring with this guy. Um, and Garcia scrambles over towards his corner, and they've all jumped off the ring like, sorry, bro, we're not tagging in to go against him. So Garcia scrambles over to the Elite side, and then he goes to tag them, and they all jump off, and they're like, no, sir. But who eventually does tag in? He gets Garcia, or I'm sorry, Garcia gets Jericho to tag in. But Brody King tags out to Malachi Black, who then gets tagged out by Kenny Omega, and we get the first taste of Kenny Omega versus Jericho. But what happens here right before they can lock up? We get the House of Black just kicking them all out of the ring and starting a big hockey fight brawl with everybody. This was so good, dude. This entire main event was just, I mean, it was almost 30 minutes, right? I think we had at least 25.
yeah, they had like 25 minutes to work with.
It was so much story being told mid-match, just throughout the whole match. This was so good. Um, Jericho and Kenny come back and take out the House of Black after they got taken out. And just Jericho and Kenny have an awesome freaking hockey fight in the middle of the ring, just beating the snot out of each other. Um, Jericho puts Kenny in the walls of Jericho. We get a massive super kick party from the Bucks. I think the Bucks super kicked everybody involved in the match. Everybody in the match got a super kick from both of them. It was freaking awesome. Been a while since we had a good old fashioned super kick party. Um, I loved how they showed the Dark Order and the Blackpool Combat Club still fighting in the back. That was a very nice little touch. Oh, go ahead.
No, there is a reason for it. I mean, obviously
Yep.
we see later, but when I was watching this live, I was like, "There's a reason for this."
Yeah, there had to be. It was very odd if you didn't think there was going to be a reason for it.
Mhm.
Um, Brody King, man, this guy is incredible. He is such a monster. He's one of the only real believable monsters left in wrestling right now for me. You know what I mean? Like this guy Omos, I whatever. You know what I mean? Brock Lesnar, he's pretty much done. He's just a goofy cowboy now. Like this guy Brody King is like the last believable monster left, and if I was in a bar or if I was walking down the street and he was like angry at somebody or me, I would legitimately be terrified. This guy is just enormous and scary, and he kills basically everybody here. They take out Chris Jericho with the Dante's Inferno, and I didn't see this coming. Jericho was about to take the pin, and Kenny Omega with the save. So the crowd really, really enjoyed this one. Jericho getting saved by Kenny. But didn't really save much because they hit the Dante's Inferno on Garcia just a moment later, and the House of Black pick up the win in an absolutely incredible main event of an incredible Dynamite. Like I know I've said it a few times, but this was an all-timer. This might have been one of the best episodes of Dynamite ever.
Absolutely, I thought that this match was just absolutely incredible. Um, but as great as it was, I would like to now talk about the ending of this match. So we're sitting there, we're watching the end of the match, and Blackpool Combat Club and Hangman and Dark Order, their brawl that was backstage in the parking lot spilled out into the arena after the match. Um, After a great defense by House of Black, where they pick up the win, and Hangman, he gets into the ring And the Blackpool Combat Club, they knock the Dark Order out, and they get into the ring, and it's 3-on-1. And what is Hangman gonna do? And then what happens? The Elite come to his aid by backing him up. I jumped out of my seat. I was pacing. No, I was shaking with excitement. And the Blackpool Combat Club, they slink back out of the ring. And then the show fucking ends. And not just like the genius to end the show on that shot, not even really seeing him turn around. Cinema. Absolute cinema. Because I'm sitting here now wishing it was fucking Wednesday again so I could see the next part of this story. This was absolutely probably one of my all-time favorite ends to Dynamite. Again, the same way that all-time great favorite opener, probably my all-time favorite closer on the same show. God damn it, man! I had chills. I have chills right now. I was shaking. I was pacing.
Dude, I screamed when Hangman stood up against the House of Black by himself. I literally screamed. I said, "Where are the Bucks? Where are the Bucks?" Like, I screamed it, dude.
And they get in the ring and they back him up, and my heart just, I felt so, like, my heart felt so filled with love and happiness that I was like, this is absolutely incredible. I don't know if I'm going to do it tonight because I have to get up again in the morning, but I'm definitely going back and watching that first segment and that ending, which I like, even when it's really good, just because I don't have the time. I don't always go back like the next day and watch stuff. It's like just clips on Twitter. I will absolutely be going back to watch that first segment and the main event, and definitely the ending of the show.
Yeah.
It was just absolutely incredible. Just absolutely fucking loved it. I'm so happy.
Yeah, dude, this was so good. And man, oh, they got me so good too when they cut away. When they cut this episode off, they cut it off the millisecond before Hangman's head turned enough to see them. Like, he was like wondering, Hangman was like, why is House of Black just backing away from me? He's like, where are you going? Where are you going? And it was one of those things where, like, you didn't realize that there was somebody behind you helping you, in what you were doing here. And he kind of like realizes it, like, oh, maybe there's someone behind me. And he starts to turn around. And just before he can turn enough to see them, they cut the episode. I was like, they got me, you sons of bitches. Like, just one more second is all I wanted.
So, now there is a little bit more to this storyline, and Jeff, I just sent you a quick quick tweet on a DM in Discord. There is some clear storyline going here that we haven't seen. So Jeff, did you get the DM?
Yes.
Okay, so please play this.
As soon as I get it up in full screen. Oh, there's not a full screen. It's just a GIF.
Yeah, it's just a GIF. It's not long. Let me know when it's live.
It's live. The Bucks are a clear step forward of Omega here.
Now, not only that, so yes, obviously in the GIF, you see the Bucks step up, much more willing to help Adam Page. After the show, the Young Bucks stayed in the ring longer than Kenny did. So after the show goes off the air, Hangman turns around. There's a little bit of a stare down, probably about 5 or 6 seconds. Kenny rolls out of the ring while the Bucks are still in the ring before the Bucks ultimately roll out of the ring.
The return of the Hung Bucks confirmed.
Look, man, this is, yeah, Kenny is limping though, but again, the post show could lead to, and again, this is just what we're doing. We're just speculating. This has been one of the best told stories. This has been the best told story in the history of professional wrestling. Don't at me on that because it's just facts. And-
100%. We got to get Kenny back into the singles as well. So I do definitely believe this is all intentional.
Well, so I do think that, I mean, if Punk's coming back, Kenny's going to stick with the Elite still. What I would think they're going to do is they want to do this BCC versus the Elite thing. So Kenny's going to step away for this one feud, but then they're going to get called back together when CM Punk returns.
Yeah, man. I'm all for it. Whatever's going on, everything right now is this episode was so good. I am here. My body is ready. I'm here for everything AEW, man. Give me more. In the words of a pretty shitty dude, feed me more. That's all I can say.
Well, that was pretty funny. Yeah, I don't know about that one.
All right, man. I don't know how much more I can say about this freaking awesome episode. And got anything else you want to throw out here for tonight?
It's an all-time
Actually-
episode of Dynamite. That's pretty much
Oh,
all I got.
absolutely. I did want to touch on one more thing. So somebody did mention that it's possible that we could get Athena and Thunder Rosa onto the Outcast team. And I think Ed was saying that it wouldn't make sense because Thunder Rosa's not an ex-Fed girl, woman, whatever. I actually think it would still make sense because of the term outcast that they're using. They're it's not a secret that a lot of the locker room did kind of outcast Thunder Rosa for, holding on to that title. I actually think that would still make sense.
Yeah, I think it would. I don't know if that's where I want them to go, but I don't know.
I agree. I don't know if that's where I'd want them to go, but I do think it could make sense if they did it right.
Mhm.
Ooh, Natasha mentioning the Golden Lovers with the Coog. Get Kenny and Takeshita. Oh, God. I'm in, but give me Kenny versus Ibushi. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I want Kenny versus Ibushi. Singles matches. Yeah. Ed, you did say it. Okay, you said that they could be any non-AEW original. All right, got you. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for us here tonight. I know Rome is running on extremely low amount of sleep, so we will go ahead and close this one out. Would you, sir?
Absolutely. Yeah, man, I was fucking exhausted. I had a huge thing at work where I was there till 1:45 last night, and then I got home around like 2, and then I had to wake up at 6 to go back in. I was fucking dead to the world, let me tell you. But everything went really well, so that's good. Anyways, this has been episode 126 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe on your way out. If you can, go check out some of our other videos. Unfortunately, there was no gaming podcast this week, no Game Room podcast, but it will return next week, along with our Rampage review. Now, Jeff, actually, we do have to talk about Rampage, which we didn't do the preview, but it is what it is. So Rampage is airing like super late Saturday night. I'm okay to do a review. Are you okay to do a review?
Yeah, on Saturday night, I got nothing going on Mondays.
You mean Sundays?
Sundays, yeah.
Or I guess Saturday. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no. So I don't have anything to do on Sunday, so I can stay up as late as I want on Saturday.
Okay.
And they said it'll be on immediately after the game is over, right after the.
So my exhaustion got the best of me. It's still Friday night,
Okay,
but it's at like 11:30, around 11:30, or when the game ends.
gotcha.
So we would be going live at like 1:00. I'm okay, but are you going to be okay Saturday night? That's the question.
That's another one because I
Friday
work
night,
Saturday mornings.
Friday night. Oh my God.
No, I get you now. It's on Friday night. I work Saturday morning, so I'm not sure. We'll play this one by ear because let me see what time that the NCAA game starts, and we'll see.
Okay. All right. Anyways, follow social media down below. Check out our channel. Watch other videos. Okay, I want to go to bed. I love you guys. Good night. Bye.
Right on. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with us here tonight, and everybody until next time. Top guys out.
See, look, I'm dying. I'm dead right now.